Hey, what's happening, all you wizards out there? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm back with another fairy tale 100 Years Quest chapter review. This time it's chapter 28, titled White Control. And depending on who you are, you understand White Control all too well. Topical. But we pick up with the passed out Juvia being watched over by the other members of Team Natsu, with everyone wondering if she's gonna be okay and wondering about her cryptic message about beware the White Witch, with none of them really having too much of an idea of who that is. They just know that Carmille has mentioned that that was the person who caused the Water God's dragons to be suppressed and caused them to rampage out of control. So they start to wonder if maybe something has happened to the guild. But aside from that, they also have to wonder what they will do with Alderaan, especially considering there are towns on top of it, and not just one town. We come to find out that there are 5 individual cities all across Alderaan's body. So it's just not a matter of one town possibly being destroyed if you like maybe cut off Alderaan's hand and get rid of him that way. No, you have 5 other cities all across primary spots of Alderaan's body that you have to, bring into question about what would happen if you were to take down Alderaan. What would happen to those cities? And you gotta wonder, is it even okay to seal him away or do anything to his power? As it seems like Alderaan exists peacefully with the people of that town. It doesn't seem like he brings any harm or destruction. He just kind of walks around every once in a while, and that's a little bit about it. So while Gray and Wendy decide to stay back, hang back, and actually look over Juvia, Urza, Lucy, Natsu, well, I guess Wendy, Carla, and Gray. I always forget the cats. Urza, Happy, Natsu, and Lucy will go out and try to find out any information about Alderaan himself. And while they're able to see Alderaan's head from where they're at, he just seems to sleep during the day, and that's about it. Only ever getting up to stretch every once in a while, and that's about it. And they start to question, it's just like, was this town built before they knew that it was Alderaan's hand, or afterwards? And not just that, it's just like, it's not like they wouldn't have noticed. Why did they never relocate or anything like that? But then an old man comes forward and say that, well, all is according to Alderaan's rules. They basically worship Alderaan, and why not? It's the being that they live on. When you're basically the size of an ant living on the body of a massive creature, you might as well think that's a god as well. But the old man says that several thousand years ago, during the age of his great-great-great-grandfather, the town Alderaan told the people to build their town atop his body, possibly in order to protect the townspeople from suffering any harm. I mean, who's going to mess with towns that are on the back of a giant dragon? Like, that's some home security, honestly. I gotta say. I mean, really, would you even attempt to lay siege to a massive dragon? Like, nah, I'd literally start thinking twice about that. But ultimately, because it was so long ago, the old man only knows so much information, and also decides to give the group a tour of the town. Although Natsu makes note that the old man doesn't smell quite right, making it very obvious this is the machinations of the White Witch Toka. As Juvia's here. Of course, Toka can't be far behind, because all things considered. But the old man just basically shows off various mild locations. Tourist plazas, places for goods, parks, amusement parks, lakes, And then the last place that they go to is in the heart of Drasil, the Church of the Holy Right Hand, which is a massive building, which of course they go there to worship Alderaan as a god. I mean, ultimately, wood god dragon. I mean, they're not wrong, technically. But unfortunately, as soon as they go inside, the door slams shut. The old man takes a more threatening tone that anyone who threatens Alderaan cannot be allowed anywhere near him. And all these candles flicker to life, and the group finds that they are now confronted by a massive army of hooded figures, much like the old man. They also make it known that they are in the thrall of the White Witch, and that the group has committed 2 sins: violating the White Witch's teachings by possessing overly powerful magic, and coming here to destroy Alderaan. Which makes you wonder, does the White Witch want to save Alderaan? Oh, it's weird, because what the White Witch did to the water god dragon seems to kind of contradict this, at least to a little certain degree. Just what exactly is Toka the White Witch? Toka and White Witch are separate entities, but what is the White Witch's end goals in basically bringing these massive dragons under her thrall? And this old man transforms, and we come to find out this is in fact the controlled Mira Jane, having lured her friends into a trap, much to the shock of everyone else. And it's not just her who tries to go on the attack. We also come to find out that all the other various members of the Fairy Tale Guild, as well as Jalal, are all in attendance under the thrall of the White Witch. Although, the scene with all of them there kind of looks a little weird, like almost like their bodies are a little bit shorter than they should be. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but the art in that panel just looks a little off. But naturally, everyone's shocked to see that, all the members of the Fairy Tale Guild are there, and when they wonder what's going on, the White Witch steps forward, saying that, in truth, I don't really care too much about Alderaan, but he is another source of powerful magic that must be whited out. Just get some WhiteOut and just go right over that thing. And they also want to capture them. She also wants to capture them as well in order to bring the entirety of the Fairy Tale Guild under her control. But when Natsu says, "Who the hell are you?" the White Witch makes note of the fact that it seems that despite Toka's talk, Natsu doesn't remember anything about her, which makes you wonder, how long ago was it that Natsu met Toka? Was it simply during his childhood in Magnolia, or does it go back even further? Possibly the years back when Natsu was first put in the charge of Igneel several hundred years ago? Or is it even possible that Toka is actually familiar with the true Natsu? As, spoilers, but if you've gotten to this point, you should know. It's a thing that should be already known in the anime, considering the episodes that have come out. And if you're reading this manga, you should already know the events of that story. That Natsu is not the true Natsu Dragneel. In fact, he's an Aetherius, a demon, basically. So ultimately, there's a possibility that Toka is actually friends with the true Natsu Dragoneel. But Toka, the White Witch notices one thing, that not all members of Team Natsu are in attendance, missing out on Gray and Wendy. And she starts to kind of reprimand Mira Jane for not bringing everyone to her. And even goes as far as to have Elfman and Lazana actually start to just beat up Mira Jane in order to just kind of, punish her. And when any of them try to retaliate, in comes Gajeel, just stopping them in their tracks, telling them not to interfere. Which, leaves them with no certain means of what to do. They can't harm their friends, but their friends are harming each other. So everything is basically up in the air. But the White Witch notes that the possibility of them not being there might be the machinations of Toka, the vessel. And as if on cue, Juvia wakes up, props her head up, and recaps everything to Gray and Wendy in order to let them know that everyone is being controlled by the White Witch. And only Juvia was able to make it out through the help of the White Witch's alter ego, Toka. And she says that for some reason, everyone in the guild is being kept alive right now, mostly just to capture all the other members. But it would be incredibly easy for her to kill them all off, and that's where our chapter ends. Which, is pretty true and fairly obvious. Like, come on, of course, that's easily what could happen. With the snap of her fingers. Not even that, just with a simple command, Elfman and Lazana are beating up their treasured older sister, which would normally never happen. They feel completely down about it. So, obviously, Toka's control is absolute. But ultimately, that's all the Fairy Tail Guild really has to do. Just take out Toka, and that should be all there is to it. But Toka has shown some interesting skills, so it's pretty up in the air just how effective she could be against Team Natsu, despite the fact that they are her strongest members of the guild. But that's the end of the chapter. I'm interested to see where we go from here on out with everything that went down, and how they will be able to free everyone from the White Witch's control. But tell me your thoughts and ideas in the comment section below. Do you think they're just gonna beat up Toka and be done with it? Or is there something deeper going on there? Not to mention, how are they gonna take down the Wood God Dragon Alderaan? The Toka situation seems a little less important in this situation. Despite the fact that I was pushing for more involvement from Toka, it's just like, how are they going to seal away the Wood God Dragon without taking down the cities? That's a little bit more fascinating to me, so I can never be pleased. That seems to be the lesson from this. I will never be satisfied. But again, tell me your thoughts and opinions on how everything will resolve in the next few chapters in the comment section below. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to give me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below. Subscribe and hit the bell icon, that way you never miss out on another Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest chapter review. And if you want to find me on social media, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. I am everywhere for better or for worse. And until the next chapter, just remember that another way of making friends and influencing people are to control their mind. Try it out sometime, it's fun. And until next time, I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I think it's time for bed. Bye-bye.